frozen lake. So the Pangong lake was frozen, right? The lake was totally frozen and we were supposed to run on ice. Flag off hone wala tha. It was about 5 minutes left and they were playing all their music and there was a helicopter on our head. And you know that 20,000 people singing the song. It was an electrifying atmosphere. Because देखो अगर आप ये रनिंग करते हो इट मीन्स लॉट ऑफ सैक्रिफाइसेस इन योर सोशल लाइफ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स सोशल लाइफ को आपको अलग तरह से देखना पड़ता है.
Hello everyone, I welcome you to the first podcast of FITasF.com. FITasF लाया है हर रनर के unanswered questions का जवाब. एक ऐसा पॉडकास्ट जहां रनर्स, ट्रेनर्स, मैराथन ऑर्गेनाइजर्स शेयर करेंगे अपनी जर्नी, टिप्स, ट्रिक्स और इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरीज टू हेल्प ऑल ऑफ अस बिकम बेटर रनर्स. आज हमारे पास एज अ फर्स्ट गेस्ट है कपिल अरोरा, मेरे क्लोज फ्रेंड्स, जिन्होंने शुरुआत की थी एज अ रनर, but with time he has grown into so much more. As of today, he is a holder of Guinness Book of World Records. He is a national record holder and he is an Ironman. He is a TEDx speaker. He is a best-selling author. He is a gold medalist and TMM. The list is on and on. So let's not waste any more time and welcome our esteemed guest, Mr. Kapil Arora. I would request him to share some of his experiences with us.
Thank you so much, Saket. Well, my journey started in a very unusual way. I was not supposed to be a runner. I'll tell you one fine day what happened, that I was working in a bank and I was supposed to meet a client. And client जो है वो 6th floor पे था. So for some reason the lift was not working. So I thought I'll take stairs. In fact, I had no options. But by the time I reached the 4th floor, and believe me, I was like 32 years old, right? I reached the 4th floor, I could not climb further because I was so heavy and I was smoker. So all this smoking and heavy body weight has taken a toll and I was just 32 years old. And then I sat on the stairs and I realized that, boss, ye kya ho raha hai? You know, I'm just got married a few years back and I've got a little daughter and here I am, my health is taken a beating. I'm not able to climb 4 stairs. You know, I had to sit back, I had to loosen my tie and I started thinking that something somewhere has to change. And that day I decided that something must change. And then my journey started in a different direction. That's where my life took a different turn. And I started my running journey. And fortunately enough, I met my coach, Princeton Miranda. And Princeton guided me what is to be done. So we started with a half marathon in Tata Mumbai Marathon, then ultra marathon, and then Ironman, and then, you know, there was no looking back. So journey started in one day, so to say.
Yeah. Based on your interactions with me, your story has always inspired me at every step, you know. So tell me something, that you were a corporate person and a lot of us, they don't know, they are interested into running when they see TMM happening or other event happen. So how to move from a corporate job when you are already occupied your whole day and get into a sport like running, and how to maintain your fitness. So what would you suggest to them?
I think I was lucky enough. I was working with ICICI Bank and our director that time, Mr. Vaidyanathan, who is the MD and director of IDFC Bank now. He was an avid marathoner, and every time he used to go and run marathon, he used to send an email to all the employees, mentioning his experiences. And I always used to get super inspired by his thoughts and his experiences. Then I realized that, boss, if he's such a big guy, he's the director of the company, I'm just a employee. If he has time to practice and run a marathon, okay, why can't I do it? Right? And then I realized that means everybody can do it. I always tell people, it's not about time. It's always about priorities. If priority is there, you will find time. Time is there for everyone. अगर priority नहीं है और आप बोलो मेरे पास time नहीं है, that's not right. You can always cut on your Netflix watching time and find out time to run. You don't need much time to run. You need half an hour, 45 minutes. That's more than enough on a normal day, which I think is available to everyone.
Yeah, I completely agree, because when I started my running journey also, I was also in a very, very hectic job. And then I realized that things have to change. And the best thing about running is you can do it at times at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, where actually you're not taking out time from your day to day work. It's just some time for yourself.
Yeah.
So tell me something now. You have had your running journey for so many years. What is it about running that, keeps you hooked? What is your experience with running that, you still devote so much time, energy to running? Why do you love running so much?
To me, running is freedom. When you're running on the streets or on the beach or on, you're feeling free. You're not distracted by social media or any negative thoughts. You are within your. It's like your me time, and a kind of freedom you get, because 99% you're doing this alone, right? So it's like your own journey. You are enjoying the place. You're running. Your body is moving. Your thoughts are moving. And the best part is when you finish your run, you get an amazing feeling, right? You get a very satisfying feeling that you've done something good. For me, it's always at the start of the day, because if your start of the day is good and you feel good in the first hour, first 2 hours of the day, that means you are actually setting up the ball rolling for the entire day. And if you're feeling good, of course, you're performing better. You are smiling more. You are meeting more people. You are being more productive at work. So I think there's a rippling effect. There's a domino effect. A great start in the morning by doing a good run, and that actually changes the entire perspective of the day.
From running, you interacted into triathlon and you completed several Ironman events. You also have your prestigious Ironman medal here also. So tell me, how did that transition happen? First, tell us, what is Ironman?
So Ironman is basically a triathlon, which means that it's a mix of three events. You have swimming, cycling, and running. The format for, so again there is a full Ironman and there is a half Ironman. Like you have full marathon and half marathon, but the main competition is full Ironman, which means you have to swim in the sea for 3.8 kilometers. Then you come back and then you cycle for 180 kilometers. After you're done with your cycling for 180 kilometers, you have to run a full marathon, which is a 42.197 kilometers. So you have to do all the three sports in one day. In fact, in a specified time. So you're doing three sports. You're not running one race. You're running three races, three different sports in a single day, and then you're reaching the finish line. That is Ironman. So from my journey was simply when I started with my half marathon, it was a struggle, the first half marathon, but then I found some mojo there and I graduated to a full marathon. And then after 10 or 11 full marathons, I thought, what next? And then I realized that there is something called ultra marathon. So there is this race in South Africa called Comrades, which is a 90 kilometers ultra marathon. You run from one city to the other city, 90 kilometers. So I went there. I did my first ultra marathon. Then I got so enamored and captivated by this ultra marathon that I went again the next year. Then again and then again. So 4 years in a row I went to South Africa to do these 4 ultra marathons there. Now I had done half marathon, I had done full marathon, I had done ultra marathon. Now I was asking myself a question that was, Abhi, what next? Abhi, what is the next big challenge? And then I realized that, okay, this Ironman is something which can be my next big challenge. But then there was a big issue. The issue was that I had no clue about swimming. मुझे लगा रनिंग तो खैर आती है, साइकिलिंग भी करेंगे, बट स्विमिंग तो आती नहीं है. एंड स्विमिंग इज़ नॉट दैट ईजी. यू कैन जस्ट जंप विदाउट knowing how to swim. You cannot jump in the sea or the lake and start swimming. It can be fatal. So that was a question which I wanted to answer, and this was not a swimming which is like a casual swimming. This is like a competitive swimming where you go typically in the deep seas or in the deep lakes and you do it for like 3.8 kilometers. So and you're not wearing any protective gear in doing it. So you have to be a swimmer to do it, a very proficient and a good swimmer to do it. And then I hired a coach, a swimming coach, and I told him, look, I have my competition in 6 months. Please train me how to swim. In 6 months, I had no clue how to swim. I told him, I am at ground zero. मेरे को swimming बिल्कुल नहीं आती. Okay, here I am standing in the pool. मेरे को कैसे पता नहीं है कि वहाँ कैसे पहुँचना है. I have no clue. But I have 6 months in hand, and I have to do this 3.8 kilometers of swimming. And that too in the deep ocean. So, train me. And then I started training. And then here I was on the starting line.
So wasn't it scary?
It was scary. It was absolutely scary. Remember my first Ironman when I was, that was in Phuket. I did a 70.3. And that was the first time ever in my life I was in the sea. And I was supposed to swim in the sea. Because I had never before that swam in the sea. I had always done my practice in the pool. It was very scary because I was like praying to God that किसी तरह ये swimming वाला चीज़ ख़त्म हो जाए. Cycling और running तो मैं कर ही लूँगा. So it was more scary to think about it and standing there. But once I started swimming, I realized that of all those hours of practice, it's not as tough. And it's somewhere it was like winning over yourself. Once I finished that swim leg, I felt so damn good that मुझे लगा यार अब तो मतलब अब मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ.
Wow. So that is the beautiful feeling. चलिए फैंटास्टिक. सो आपके ट्रायथलॉन और आपके रनिंग एक्सपीरियंस में ऐसा कौन सा एक इंस्पायरिंग मोमेंट होगा जो आपको लगता है कि दिस रियली इंस्पायर्ड मी टू गो हायर, टू गो डीपर?
I remember it was my first ultra marathon in South Africa, Comrades 90 kilometers, and I had just reached and the race was about to start. And in my life, I had never ran 90 kilometers in one go. So I was on the starting line and वो flag off होने वाला था. It was about 5 minutes left and they were playing all their music and everything was set. And there was a helicopter on our head. And that 20,000 people singing the song. It was an electrifying atmosphere. But it was damn scary for me because मेरे लिए पहली बार था. So I found a gentleman जो मेरे सामने खड़ा था. And कॉमरेड्स में क्या होता है कि लाइक इन TMM इन अदर रेसेस, जितनी बार आपने वो रेस किया है आपके बिब के ऊपर उसका नाम लिखा होता है. हाउ मेनी मेडल हैव यू अर्नड. सपोज आई हैव डन TMM 9 times, so they'll be writing 9 done. So उस जेंटलमैन के बिब पे इट वाज रिटन 34, which means that that fellow had actually done this Comrades Ultra Marathon 34 times. वो 34 साल से ये रेस दौड़ रहा है. तो मुझे लगा यार ये तो मतलब गजब आदमी है जो 34 साल से दौड़ रहा है. मेरा तो पहली बार है एंड आई एम वेरी स्केयर्ड टुडे. सो लेट मी आस्क हिम some piece of advice. So I went to him and I said, sir, I am from India and this is my first ever ultra marathon and I am seeing you've done it 34 times. So give me some piece of advice. I'm very nervous now and it's going to start in next 5 minutes. So please मेरे को बताइए. I mean, let me know what advice you have to give me. And he uttered those 4 words. And believe me, Saket, those 4 words from that day onwards has been somewhere the philosophy of my life. And those 4 words were, he said, whatever happens, don't stop.
Wow, so beautiful.
So these were those 4 words. I mentioned about this point in my book also, Made Not Born. And then with those 4 words in my head, I started my journey. And then I went on and on and on and on and 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90 kilometers I ran non-stop in about 11 and a half hours. That was something extraordinary which I've done. I could not believe my own self.
So I think you got self-confidence for your life also. So I think that is what is running for everybody, It teaches us life lessons.
Yeah.
It teaches us how to live life.
Yeah.
Gives us the confidence to go through life, each and every problem of it. Yeah. And I think that is why we all love running so much.
Yeah.
So that is so beautiful. But now let's change the tone of this. So tell me if one very embarrassing, कोई ऐसा embarrassing moment हुआ आप जब रन कर रहे थे जिसका आपने किसी को नहीं बताया अभी तक.
या एक बार आई रिमेंबर मैं शायद एक आयरनमैन कर रहा था. आई वाज इन ब्राज़ील आई थिंक. एंड व्हाइल आई वाज ऑन द रन मोड, जब तक स्विमिंग हो रहा था आई वाज वेयरिंग दैट स्विमिंग गियर. बाहर आया तो साइकिलिंग भी हो गया. एंड while I was running, I realized that मेरा जो शॉर्ट्स हैं, रनिंग शॉर्ट्स हैं, they were getting very loose. I don't know why. What happened to that string? They were loose and they were kind of falling down. And here I was, it was very embarrassing. But I cannot do nothing because look, you are in a foreign country और आप भाग रहे हो और आपको 21 किलोमीटर भागना, you are racing, right? And here you are, your like pants are getting not in good shape. So it was very embarrassing. I was kind of holding my shorts from behind and running, and somewhere, because if I would have left them, they would have fallen down. And just imagine the photo with fallen shorts. It would have been crazy. I think that was one incident, but then I learned a lot from them, that incident, and it was great fun. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing that moment with
Sure.
us. I think all of our viewers can also imagine
Absolutely.
that happening right now.
Absolutely.
So apart from this, so you have run a lot of races as a triathlete, as a runner, etc. So what can be that one fun run, which you enjoyed the most in your life? जो आपको just for the fun part you can never forget.
I think the run which we did recently in Ladakh, and that was very extraordinary. This was a half marathon, but it was on the lake, inside the lake in fact. So the Pangong Lake, the frozen lake. So the Pangong Lake was frozen, right? The lake was totally frozen and we were supposed to run on ice. So we went in the middle of the lake with our shoes and spikes, and it was very cold there, about -14, -15 degrees. We were wearing so many clothes and running on ice, 21 kilometers. The entire stretch on ice in like bitter cold and less oxygen. I think it was an extraordinary experience. I just loved
Lake
it.
in itself is such a beautiful place. I
Yeah.
can just imagine.
But running in the middle is something crazy.
Take me there next time.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that is how you earned this
Yeah.
Guinness Book of World Record, right?
Yes, this was a record attempt, the world record attempt. This is the world's highest frozen lake half marathon. And we were about 60-70 of us who attempted this, and we created the world record.
हमारे जो व्यूअर्स हैं वो सब अलग अलग स्टेजेस पे हैं. कोई नया रेगुलर बिगिनर है, कोई रेगुलरली रन करता है, कोई ट्रायथलॉन के लिए करता है. सो आप ऐसा क्या टिप दोगे टू समबडी हु इज़ अ न्यू कमर, जो इसने रनिंग अभी स्टार्ट की है, वर्सेस आप ऐसा क्या एक टिप दोगे टू समबडी हु इज़ रनिंग हिज मैराथॉन्स एंड समबडी हु इज़ रनिंग हिज ट्रायथलॉन?
आई थिंक जो नए रनर हैं और नोविस रनर हु जस्ट जॉइंड, I think it's one very important part is that they should practice on they should focus on their training part. Don't only practice on the events. मैं देख रहा हूँ बहुत events आ रहे हैं and people are so fascinated by lot of events कि वो हर event करना चाहते हैं. हर Sunday को एक event हो रहा है, they want to do every event. Please understand, the more events you are doing, the more you are straining your body, and which means that आप ट्रेनिंग कम कर रहे हैं. तो ट्रेनिंग बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. ज़्यादा इवेंट्स करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. गिव अ ब्रेक फ्रॉम वन इवेंट टू द अदर इवेंट, और उसके बीच थोड़ा ट्रेनिंग करो. और ट्रेनिंग को भी एक मेथड होता है. हर चीज़ का देयर इज़ अ मेथड टू हाउ यू ट्रेन. ऐसा नहीं है कि आज मूड किया 10 किलोमीटर चलो 10 कर लिया, आज मूड किया 5 चलो 5 कर लिया, आज मूड ही नहीं किया. सो एक सीक्वेंस बनाना पड़ेगा, एक तरीका बनाना पड़ेगा कि आपको अगर एक हाफ मैराथन करनी है और आपके पास 3 महीने हैं, आपको वीकली माइलेज कितनी होनी चाहिए. वो वीकली माइलेज सपोज आपको 40 किलोमीटर होनी चाहिए, तो उसमें कितने रन्स होने चाहिए. एक रन होना चाहिए जो क्वालिटी रन होना चाहिए, जो स्पीड के लिए रन होना चाहिए. एक रिकवरी रन होना चाहिए, एक एंड्योरेंस के लिए रन होना चाहिए. सो ये सब चीज़ें बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. फॉर ए नोविस रनर इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट. मैं एक सिंपल चीज़ तरीका बताऊं तो उनको वीकली माइलेज जो है वो बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. कि आपने कोई भी अगर हाफ मैराथन करना चाहते हो तो आपको वीकली माइलेज फॉर एग्जांपल 40 किलोमीटर होनी चाहिए। आपको एक 10 किलोमीटर रन करना है तो आपका वीकली माइलेज कम से कम 25 किलोमीटर होना चाहिए। तो ये डिसाइड करना इंपॉर्टेंट है। जो रेगुलर रनर्स हैं आई थिंक उनके लिए एक चीज़ बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है विच इज़ लैगिंग। मैंने काफ़ी बार देखा है कि दे ओनली आर रनिंग। See, running is not only about running. You have to do your strength training. You have to do your cross training. You have to do your फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी के लिए आपको योगा करना पड़ेगा या आपको फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी करना पड़ेगा, स्ट्रेचिंग करनी पड़ेगी। तो ये तीनों का तालमेल होना इंपॉर्टेंट है। इफ़ यू ओनली डू रनिंग एंड यू डू नो स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग, इट्स लाइक यू आर पुटिंग एक फरारी का इंजन आप एक नॉर्मल गाड़ी में डाल दोगे, वो चलेगा नहीं ना। क्योंकि फरारी के इंजन को आप चला तो सकते हो लेकिन उसका बॉडी भी तो मजबूत करनी पड़ेगी, राइट? तो स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग जो रेगुलर रनर है, आई थिंक स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग इंपॉर्टेंट है। क्या स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग करनी है, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ कोचेज, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल, बट उसको बड़ा ही इंटेग्रल पार्ट अपनी रनिंग का बनाना पड़ेगा। एंड फॉर ट्रायथलॉन्स आई सजेस्ट वर्क ऑन योर साइकिलिंग स्पीड, वर्क ऑन योर रनिंग एंड वर्क ऑन योर स्विमिंग। बट ऑफ कोर्स ये तो करना ही है, बट सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट ये है कि आप ये तीनों को साथ में कैसे कर रहे हो। There is a training pattern called BRICS pattern, wherein what happens, you do 2 or 3 sports at a time. आप प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो तो आप पहले स्विमिंग करते हो, फिर साइकिलिंग करते हो, या फिर आप साइकिलिंग करते हो उसके बाद तुरंत रनिंग करते हो। तो उससे होता क्या है कि अलग अलग मसल्स जो है ना एक्टिवेट होते हैं बॉडी के। अब आपका कंपटीशन ही ऐसा है, आपको अलग अलग मसल को एक्टिवेट करने का ज़रूरत पैदा करनी पड़ेगी और उसके लिए आपको ये सब करना पड़ेगा। तो ब्रिक्स वर्कआउट आर एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट, आप उसको मिस नहीं कर सकते। काफ़ी ट्रायथलीट्स जो है ना इस चीज़ को बहुत कम अहमियत देते हैं। वो बोलते हैं ठीक है आज सुबह उठते हैं, आज रनिंग कर लेते हैं, फिर एक दिन अच्छा मूड है तो आज सिर्फ स्विमिंग कर देते हैं, बट वो साथ में करना बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट।
नहीं, आई कम्प्लीटली अग्री, क्योंकि जब हम लोग साइकिलिंग करते हैं उसके बाद जब अचानक रनिंग करना स्टार्ट करते हैं, पीपल डोंट रियलाइज़ कि हमारे लेग्स बहुत बड़े ट्रांजिशन के थ्रू गुजरते हैं। सो वो जेली लेग्स अगर होते हैं, वो अगर आपने पहले एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया है और उसके लिए ट्रेन नहीं किया है, तो अल्टीमेटली यू विल सफ़र ग्रेटली ऑन योर रेस डे। इट्स अ बिग सरप्राइज। या फिर आप जब ओपन सी में, विच इज़ सॉल्टी वाटर, एंड देन यू अचानक स्टार्ट डूइंग फॉर अ साइकिलिंग, नो अगेन दैट इज़ अ वेरी डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस एंड यू नीड टू ट्रेन योर बॉडी फॉर दैट। बट आपकी पूरी बात से जो मुझे समझ में आया कि कोच एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट प्लेस रखता है हमारी ट्रेनिंग के अंदर। सो आप बताइए, आई एम श्योर कि आपने अपनी कोचिंग की होगी मल्टीपल कोचेस के अंदर, बिकॉज यू हैव बीन थ्रू सेवरल बिग ट्रांजिशंस इन योर जर्नी। सो कौन से ऐसे 4 या 5 कोचेस हैं जिनके आपने, मतलब इवन इफ़ यू हैव ट्रेन अंडर देम और इवन इफ़ यू हैव वॉच देम, which you think are really good and they really inspire a lot of people, they help a lot of people, और उनको कंसिडर किया जा सकता है?
या आई थिंक सबसे पहले तो जो आपने बोला कि बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है, कोचिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। अगर आप कोई भी कंपटीशन की तैयारी कर रहे हैं एंड इफ़ यू आर सीरियस अबाउट इट, आपको एक अच्छा कोच मिलना बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है। और 2 तरीके हैं, एक तो ये है कि आजकल काफ़ी ऐप्स भी हैं, काफ़ी ट्रेनिंग प्लान्स भी हैं, आप ऑनलाइन भी काम कर सकते हैं, काफ़ी ऐप्स हैं। दूसरा है, बट मेरे हिसाब से अगर आपको अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस चाहिए और बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस चाहिए, यू शुड हायर ए कोच। ऑन ग्राउंड कोच इज़ द बेस्ट थिंग, कि अगर आप सुबह जाके कोच के साथ मिलते हो, कोच आपको बताता है भाई आज ये करना है, आज ये वर्कआउट है, बेस्ट है। अगर आप ऐसी जगह रहते हो कि आपके एरिया में और शहर में सपोज कोचेज़ अवेलेबल नहीं है, और कोचेज़ अवेलेबल हैं बट शायद मैराथन स्पेसिफिक कोचेज़ अवेलेबल नहीं है, तो आजकल तो आप सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू या फिर ऑनलाइन कन्वर्सेशन के थ्रू या ऑनलाइन प्लान ले सकते हो। लाइक कोच आपको बता सकता है कि ये प्लान है आपका, दीज आर द रन विच यू आर सपोज टू डू इन ए वीक, एंड देन यू कैन कन्वर्स विद द कोच। हम लकीली मुंबई में रहते हैं, तो मुंबई में ऐसा वी आर लकी कि यहाँ पे बहुत कोचेज़ हैं और बड़े अच्छी क्वालिटी के कोच हैं। सो जिनके साथ मैंने काम किया है, माई I've worked for the longest time with my coach Brinston Miranda. Brinston himself is a national level, international level athlete, and he's won tons of gold medals for the country. And but a great coach, and I've been with him for like 12-13 years. अब जो मेरे कोच हैं वो अशोक नाथ जी हैं. अशोक नाथ इज़ बेस्ड आउट ऑफ बैंगलोर and he's a pro marathon running coach, and he trains one of the best athletes in our country, right? So these two people, I regard them very highly, and they are, according to me, they are one of the best coaches available. We have Savio sir also, who is also a very renowned coach in Mumbai. You can of course reach out to him. And then we have Samson sir. He is also a very renowned coach. You can always talk to him and reach out to him. Yeah, so these are the coaches you can reach out to. It also depends on which area you are staying in, because हर area में जैसे हरी है, हरी नायर is a great coach. He is in Thane. So if you are in Thane, I will highly recommend आप हरी से बात कीजिए. If you are planning for a different race, for example, if you are planning for comrades, you should talk to Satish Gurjan. Satish is a fantastic coach, and he's done comrades like 10 times. There is no better coach to guide you on how to prepare for comrades than him, according to me. So depending on your goal and which area you are staying in, but the bottom line is that you must have a coach.
Yes. No, I completely agree with that. But जैसे मेरे कोच ने मुझे जो पहली बात बोली थी कि मेरा जो रनिंग फॉर्म है दैट हैज़ टू बी परफेक्ट. जो अगर मुझे हाफ मैराथन से फुल मैराथन जाना है एट्सेट्रा और इंजरी फ्री रन करनी है तो सो व्हाट डू यू हैव अ कमेंट ऑन दैट, एंड कैसे हम लोग अपने रनिंग फॉर्म को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं?
सी, जो कोई भी स्पोर्ट में ना एक चीज़ देखो, जो दिग्गज हैं स्पोर्ट्स के, जो बेस्ट ऑफ द पीपल है, राइट, दे ऑलवेज प्रैक्टिस फंडामेंटल्स. एग्जाम्पल, यू सी रॉजर फेडरर का जो बैक एंड है, दैट्स वन ऑफ द बेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड. इट्स लाइक ए आर्टिस्टिक, अगर आप उसको देखो इतना सुंदर लगता है. अब वो सुंदर क्यों लगता है? बिकॉज वो सालों से वो उसकी प्रैक्टिस कर रहा है, राइट. अगर आप सचिन तेंदुलकर को देखो तो द वे ही प्लेज, जैसे वो स्ट्रेट ड्राइव मारते थे, इट वाज फिनोमिनल, राइट. Why? Because they've been practicing it for longest years and years and years and years. And it's a simple straight drive, or it's a simple form, but it has to be perfected. So वैसे ही रनिंग है कि अगर आपको अच्छा रनर बनना है तो रनिंग फॉर्म जो है ना, इसको प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए सालों साल लगते हैं. यू हैव टू कीप फोकसिंग ऑन योर फॉर्म. दिस इज़ अ फंडामेंटल, ये बेस है. अगर आपको एक इमारत बनानी है तो उसका फाउंडेशन अच्छा होना चाहिए, फिर आप इमारत ऊपर बना सकते हो. अगर उसका फाउंडेशन ख़राब है, आपने उस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया और इमारत बनाने चले गए, वो इमारत ज़्यादा देर टिकेगी नहीं. तो आई थिंक फंडामेंटली फॉर्म पे बहुत फोकस करना चाहिए. एंड द बेस्ट वे ऑफ डूइंग इट इज़ कि अगर आप अपने आप को रनिंग करते हुए रिकॉर्ड करो. आप किसी दोस्त को बोलो कि आपको रिकॉर्ड कर ले और आप अपनी फॉर्म देखो. यू सी योर हैंड मूवमेंट, यू सी योर लेग मूवमेंट, यू सी योर head, where is it tilting or not tilting, you see how you're breathing. So आपको अपनी फॉर्म देख के पता चल जाएगा where you are lagging. There are a lot of videos, lot of online ways available. They'll tell you about your right running form, and then you start correcting a little bit. But सबसे पहले diagnose करना important. दो small things. So सबसे पहले तो अपने आप को रिकॉर्ड करो and देखो फ्रॉम द फॉर्म परस्पेक्टिव. ऐसा रिकॉर्ड मत करो कि आपको फेसबुक पे डालना है, वो परस्पेक्टिव से रिकॉर्ड मत करो. रिकॉर्ड इस परस्पेक्टिव से करो कि आपको देखना है कि आपकी फॉर्म कैसी है. तो अपने नॉर्मल भागो, उसको रिकॉर्ड करो और फिर उसको एनालाइज करो कि व्हाट यू आर डूइंग एंड व्हाट शुड बी डन. ये दोनों चीज़ें साइड बाय साइड देखोगे, आपको समझ आएगा कि गैप्स कहाँ हैं, एंड देन यू स्टार्ट करेक्टिंग.
एक बात बताइए, आपने यू मीट सो मेनी पीपल, यू हैव हैड सो मेनी कोचेस, और इंडिया में तो फ्री की एडवाइस भी मिलती है. सो व्हाट कैन बी द वन बेस्ट एडवाइस दैट यू गॉट एंड वन वर्स्ट एडवाइस दैट यू गॉट इन योर journey till date?
So the best advice, a lot of best advice, and I'm thankful to my coaches. I think the best advice is that you focus on your form. That's the best. Even I meet my coaches now, they always look at me and they say focus on your form. If my form is going right, like you rightly said, क्या होता है ना form का, when you start running आपकी form ठीक होती है because आपकी body fresh होती है, you feel good. But as you are getting tired, right, as you are into the race, 1 घंटा हो गया, 2 घंटा हो गया, आपकी फॉर्म ख़राब होनी शुरू हो जाती है और वहाँ से डिटियोरेशन शुरू हो जाती है. तो आई थिंक द बेस्ट एडवाइस इट कि ऑलवेज फोकस ऑन योर फॉर्म, बी कॉन्शियस अबाउट योर फॉर्म. और दूसरी इंपॉर्टेंट एडवाइस जो मैं काफ़ी हमारे नोविस रनर हैं उनको मैं देना चाहता हूँ, See, it's very enjoyable to run with some music, and I've seen a lot of people having earplugs in their ears and मोबाइल पकड़ के भाग रहे हैं. मेरे हिसाब से अगर आपको एक अच्छा रनर बनना है, राइट, यू हैव टू पुट सम डिसिप्लिन इन प्लेस. और ये आपको मोबाइल ना साइड पे रखना पड़ेगा. यू सी एनी ओलंपिक एथलीट, आपको कोई ओलंपिक एथलीट मोबाइल लेके भागता हुआ दिखता है? नहीं दिखता. आपको कोई भी अच्छा रनर, अभी एशियन गेम्स हमने देखी, ट्रैक एंड फील्ड में सब लोग भाग रहे थे, इतने अच्छे हमारे थे, कोई क्या मोबाइल लेके या कान में ईयर प्लग लेके भाग रहा था? कोई नहीं भाग रहा था. क्यों? बिकॉज focus is on running, not on music, not on fun part. And if you're serious about your running, if you want to grow as a runner, right, then you have to focus there. क्योंकि यार आप एक हाथ में मोबाइल पकड़ रहा है, एक हाथ में पानी पकड़ा है, और इधर कान में आपने ईयर प्लग्स लगाए, आप भाग रहे हो, राइट. आपको मालूम है आपका एक हाथ हैवी हो रहा है, आपका आर्म मूवमेंट में प्रॉब्लम आएगी, आपका आर्म मूवमेंट इतना स्मूथ नहीं है, राइट. कल को वो गाना चल रहा है, अच्छा गाना नहीं आया, गाना बंद हो गया, म्यूज़िक थोड़ा ट्विस्ट हो गया, तो आपका मेंटली यू विल नॉट फील गुड. सो दिस इज़ नॉट हाउ यू रन. इफ़ यू वांट टू ग्रो एज अ रनर, यू कीप ऑल दिस गैजेट्स. इसको गाड़ी में रखो, इसको घर में रखो. व्हेन यू आर ऑन द जॉब, ऑन द फील्ड, यू आर ऑन द फील्ड. देन वर्क लाइक एन एथलीट, लुक लाइक एन एथलीट, राइट. आई थिंक दैट इज़ वेरी वेरी वेरी.
सो एक और एडवाइस जो मेरे कोच ने दी थी विच वॉज वेरी नाइस वॉज ऑलवेज रन विद अ ग्रुप. ठीक है. सो मे बी लॉन्ग रन कभी कभी हम लोग करते हैं इंडिविजुअली, बट मेरा पर्सनल मानना है एज अ ग्रुप रन करने का. सो आपको क्या लगता है कि एक रनिंग ग्रुप या एक रनिंग क्लब क्या पार्ट करता है, एंड विच आर द गुड क्लब्स और रनिंग ग्रुप्स in Bombay or anywhere else in India which you think you have come across and you really liked?
Yeah, I think running club for us as amateur runners, it becomes a very important thing. इससे दो फायदे होते हैं. एक तो क्या है कि आपका एक सोशल सर्कल बन जाता है, यू मीट लाइक माइंडेड पीपल. और सुबह उठ के आपको लगता है कि यार अब आप दौड़ने जा रहे हो, तो आपके अगर 10 लोग और भी वेट कर रहे हैं, एक अनसेड डिसिप्लिन बन जाता है. You don't want to tell your friends that I am not coming, when they are standing there waiting for you at 5 o'clock. तो आपका भी एक डिसिप्लिन बन जाता है कि यार आपको मालूम है अगले दिन सुबह 5 बजे सब मेरी वेट कर रहे होंगे, तो मैं थोड़ा जल्दी सोता हूँ, मैं थोड़ा टाइम पे उठता हूँ, एंड आई शुड रीच देयर ऑन टाइम, राइट. और दूसरा, it's a bit fun also, right. After you're running with friends, you probably meet people, you feel inspired, you feel socially in a good mood. And when you're in a good mood, you can run longer. There's a famous saying, they say that if you want to run alone, run longer, you should always run with the group. Yeah, run together if you want to run longer. So I think it's always great. Bombay mein, fortunately, there are a lot of running clubs, and so some clubs which I can name is Striders is a great running club, and they have centers across the city, okay, and very professional trainers. Then we have BFit. I used to train with BFit, and they also have centers across, which is run by Princeton. Then we have Bombay Running. Bombay Running is a great running club. They also have centers across the city, a very vibrant community also, and great coaches. Then we have Mumbai Road Runners also. They also very vibrant community of runners. And yeah, so these are the clubs which actually come to my mind. And yeah, in Bombay there are a lot of clubs, and we should get enrolled. एक club को पकड़ लो तो your journey will become easier and more
Yeah,
joyful.
you earn friends for life. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So even that is a very big win in itself. Yeah. So running पे क्या होता है कि one of my biggest fears was I was never able to decide कि मुझे कौन से रनिंग शूज़ खरीदने चाहिए, कौन से रनिंग गियर खरीदने चाहिए. So आपको क्या लगता है कि 1 or 2 things that we should keep in mind while buying a good running shoe, whether we should invest so much money in a good running shoe or not, और कोई एक नया रनिंग शू जो आपने अभी ट्राई किया है या कोई ब्रांड which you think you have had very good experience with?
Yeah. I think running shoe is something very personal. It's not like a single pill for everyone. It depends on your personal choice, your body weight, your comfort level. But the bottom line is that try to avoid a very, very thick cushioned shoes, because in long term they are not doing good to your body. They can be damaging to your body. It should be medium cushion, right? Second important thing is that it should be comfortable. only because they look good or they are available on sale और सस्ते मिल रहे हैं आपने खरीद लिया, that may not be the consideration. It should feel good. आपको पहन के आपको थोड़ा चल के दौड़ के देखना चाहिए, that it should feel comfortable and nice. The shoe which I liked of late is Puma Nitro shoe. That's a great pair of running shoe. It fits well. They've given a lot of thought to the shoe, the way it's designed. Right, the backside of the shoe is designed in a way that it fits very well with your heel. Even the comfort is good, but it's not very thick. It's not very, very bouncy. It's like just right. And upper mesh is also pretty comfortable. The laces are also nice. I like that shoe. But again, it's a personal choice, and you should always try to go into some stores, try different brands, and then freeze whatever works for you.
Okay, great advice. I think I'll consider that. So, ये तो बात हो गई. But there's one more aspect to your life, that you are a pretty good influencer and pretty popular influencer on Instagram and social media. Apart from you, और कौन से ऐसे रनिंग इन्फ्लुएंसर्स हैं एक्सेट्रा जिसको आप फॉलो करते हैं?
I think there are a lot of good friends and influencers. It's very tough to say only 4 or 5 names. But if you ask me personally, I keep following Bijay Nair. He's a great runner and a good guy. He keeps putting a lot of jokes also, and he's an author too. I like Satish. Satish is a good friend, Satish Gurjan, and he's a great runner. I've learned a lot from him while I was training for my comrades. Then my good friend Kapil Arora, she is in Delhi, and if you want to follow, she is absolutely passionate about her running. And then Shivani, I follow. Shivani is also a great runner and ultra marathoner, and she goes across the world running and running and running. And of course, I like my good friend Piyush Gada. He's also a social media influencer and a runner. So these 4-5 names I could recollect on top of my mind.
I can completely relate to, and as FITasF and as personally also, I think I follow all of them also. अब ये तो हो गया आपके रनिंग के बारे में एक्सेट्रा, बट आपकी फैमिली, आपके फ्रेंड्स, आपकी कम्युनिटी, उनका क्या रोल रहा है आपकी इस जर्नी में? बिकॉज दैट इज़ ऑल्सो अ वेरी क्रूशल पार्ट, और उनके सपोर्ट के बिना आदमी कोई आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता. आपका क्या एक्सपीरियंस रहा है?
आई एग्री विद यू. आई थिंक फैमिली का सपोर्ट बहुत ही क्रिटिकल है. बिकॉज देखो, अगर आप ये रनिंग करते हो, इट मीन्स लॉट ऑफ सेक्रीफाइसेस इन योर सोशल लाइफ. लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स सोशल लाइफ को आपको अलग तरह से देखना पड़ता है. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, अगर आपके घर में कोई फंक्शन है और आपकी रेस आ रही है और आपको संडे को दौड़ना है और फंक्शन सैटरडे को है, इट्स नॉट ईजी. यू कांट से कि यार मैं नहीं आ सकता फंक्शन में बिकॉज मेरे को सुबह दौड़ना है. But that's the fact of life. If dodna is your priority, if you want to compete in that race, then you have to say no to those family functions. And I'm very thankful to my wife and my daughter. They've been very supportive in all my endeavors. And I know a lot of Saturdays we could not go out. A lot of days I have to sleep early because I have to get up early. And I'm sure they had also made a lot of sacrifices, because I cannot go out because I have to go and sleep and get up in the morning and run. उन बेचारों को भी सेक्रीफाइस करना पड़ता है, जो उनकी एस्पिरेशन थी बाहर जाने की या मूवी जाने की या डिनर पे जाने की. So a lot of sacrifices. It's not easy, but then it creates a discipline, and they say discipline is also very it's very contagious. If you have one person who is trying to be disciplined in the family, it's somewhere it rubs off to other people also in the family. So somewhere it's for general good. But sacrifice, definitely, I agree, and I'm very thankful to my daughter and my wife. I mean, they've been fantastic support, and thanks, and I owe them a lot for the sacrifices they made.
एक और एस्पेक्ट है आपका जो काफ़ी लोग नहीं जानते, इज़ दैट नाउ यू हैव कम्प्लीटली मूव्ड इनटू organizing running events. You are writing multiple books, and you have made this your whole career. So how did that switch happen? मतलब हम तो रनिंग पे खर्चा करते हैं, आप तो रनिंग से कमा रहे हो. तो वो कैसे हुआ, और how is that journey?
See, I always wanted, I had this thought of being an entrepreneur, but the question was how. And what field. And like everybody has their own calling. My calling I found was in organizing events and writing. So I've written 3 books, um, and while I was writing book, it felt very good. And why it felt good? Because I thought that basically my first book, the name of the book was 21.1 Running Mistakes and how to correct them for peak performance. So I thought, यार मैंने जितनी लाइफ में गलतियाँ की हैं, everybody else should not make those mistakes. So let me write a book how to avoid those mistakes. So the book became a bestseller and we sold thousands of copies. The good part is that there was a bit of satisfaction that you're contributing, you're giving it back somewhere, you know, and you are giving it back to those people who may not have access to this information. So I think that comes naturally, and that I'm very, very passionate about it. Then I wrote my second book, which was called Made Not Born. That is basically my own journey from being almost an obese person, a smoker, to being an Ironman, how this transition happened. And then I wrote my first book, which was called 5 Secrets. क्योंकि ये एक बड़ा इम्पॉर्टेंट सवाल था. लोगों ने बोला कि यार अब करना तो बहुत कुछ है लाइफ में, आपको दौड़ना भी है, आपको स्विमिंग भी करना है, साइकिलिंग भी करना है, आयरनमैन भी करना है, अल्ट्रा भी करना है, जॉब भी करना है, फैमिली भी करनी है, सब कुछ करना है, बट टाइम कहाँ है? और फिर आप बॉम्बे जैसी जगह में रहते हो जहाँ एक जगह से दूसरी जगह आने में आधा दिन चले जाता है, ठीक है, तो टाइम कहाँ है? तो मेरे दिमाग में भी ये सवाल आया और काफ़ी लोगों ने मुझे, बॉस टाइम कहाँ है? देन आई रिसर्च ऑन दिस सब्जेक्ट. You not believe, it took me 6 months to research on this subject. मैंने बहुत किताबें पढ़ी इसके बारे में. मैंने हार्वर्ड बिजनेस स्कूल की किताबें पढ़ी. मैंने काफ़ी सालों से मैंने अपने जो हमारे ग्रंथ हैं उनमें भी पढ़ा मैंने, इन आवर वेदास, उनमें भी पढ़ा मैंने इस सब्जेक्ट के बारे में बहुत रिसर्च किया. एंड देन आई रियलाइज सम रीज़न, सम वेज यू कैन मैनेज योर टाइम वेल. फिर मुझे लगा यार जब मैंने रियलाइज़ कर लिया है तो मैं इसको एक किताब बना देता हूँ. कि मतलब वन थिंग विच आई रियलाइज दैट आई नेवर कीप एनीथिंग विच आई हैव लर्न फॉर माई सेल्फ. द मोर आई डिस्ट्रीब्यूट, द मोर आई शेयर, that's how my contribution should be in my life. I don't want to die keeping everything in my heart. I want to die empty. Whatever I have earned, I've learned, I want to give it back, right? So that's how I look at things. So I wrote about all those 5 principles, how you can manage your time well and still be productive. So those books things happens very naturally. I'm working on my next book. Hopefully we should be launching it in TMM Expo in 2024. So this is also about running. And transition to running as organizing the running sports. Well, this also happened by accident. I was always thinking of doing this, and once during my hometown is in Jammu Kashmir. So once I was visiting there, and one of my friends, running friends, he proposed that let's do organize a marathon there in the hills. And I said यार आइडिया तो बड़ा अच्छा है, हिल्स में यहाँ पे कभी मैराथन हुई नहीं है और जगह इतनी खूबसूरत है, तो एक मैराथन यहाँ करते हैं पत्नी टॉप में. सो दैट वाज आवर फर्स्ट मैराथन विच वी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड पत्नी टॉप में, विच वाज ऑन द हिल. And the entire marathon, it was a full marathon, half marathon, everything was from one hill to the other hill. In the middle of nowhere with snow-clad mountains around. It was beautiful. It's a great experience. But uske baad then I realized that this is something also which I like, and I can probably create a business out of it or a profession out of it, because somewhere also this is a noble cause. You're joining many new people in the running community. I realized वो जम्मू कश्मीर में काफ़ी लोग मेरे पास आए and they said we had never done something like this, because ऐसा कुछ हुआ ही नहीं. Right now, because you're doing it, I have my kids, I have my uncle, I have my grandfather. Everybody is coming all the way and they are running. It's something remarkable. Never has happened in the history there. It's happening now. तो एक नया नज़रिया लोगों को मिला. Then I came to Bombay, since we stay in Bombay. So Bombay we started. We had our very successful event. We created this event called Mumbai 10K Challenge, which was actually a qualifier for the TMM. This happened on 30th of July, and I'm thankful to you. FITasF was our ticketing partner, and we had a fantastic event with some 20-25 sponsors there. And I think one thing led to another, and I'm thankful we met people like you, and we had like-minded people, like-minded brands, and slowly as we speak today, there's enough and more races planned. I have about 6-7 races planned under the banner of my company, KA Sports and Events, and looking forward to a great partnership ahead. In fact, we are going across the spectrum. Our next event is for kids. We said कि यार ये बच्चे लोग ये पूरे गेम से बाहर कैसे रह सकते हैं. हमारे लिए इवेंट हो रहे हैं, हम लोग मैराथन दौड़ रहे हैं, हाफ मैराथन दौड़ रहे हैं, ये बच्चों का क्या है, बच्चे तो बेचारे देख रहे हैं. So we have a junior thon which is coming up on 26th of November, okay, which is for kids aged between 4 to 13. 1 किलोमीटर 2 किलोमीटर की रेस है. And then we have a next event which is on 29th of October, which is coming up. It's a 10K race that's also happening. So a lot of things are planned, but I'm liking it, and I'm loving it, the way it is connecting the community and meeting like.
Yeah, I've been to most of your events, and I really love the way you enjoy it. And more than that, I can see that people are enjoying.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people who have attended your earlier races are now taking part in the upcoming races. And you're building those brands individually, and it's really very inspiring. So now let's do some self-branding also.
Yeah.
So you have been associated with FITasF for some time now. How has been your experience? And can you say something about us?
Yeah, I think I love the fact that one, we get very good quality brands. The first thing when you open the site, you will get good quality. You get brands like Puma, brands like Brooks. You have the best quality products available. So that builds a great confidence that look, this site is something which sells you everything what a runner needs, and very high quality brands. Secondly, if I'm looking for running events, again we have all the events which are listed there. तो मेरे को कहीं और जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. एक ही साइट पे मेरे को रनिंग इवेंट्स भी मिल रहे हैं, मेरे को रनिंग प्रोडक्ट्स भी मिल रहे हैं. एंड माई एक्सपीरियंस इज दे बीन वेरी प्रॉम्प्ट इन देयर सर्विस, दे बीन वेरी प्रोफेशनल, द टीम इज़ ग्रेट, एंड आई think it's way to go. I mean, from here you can only go up and go very fast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kapil. So I think we really want to thank you a lot for taking out such precious time of yours and helping us and our users with the insights in your life. ये जो छोटे छोटे insights होते हैं, यही ज़िंदगी भर काम आते हैं.
Absolutely.
And मुझे बहुत मज़ा आता है आपसे हर बार converse करने में. And I think some of it we are trying to share it with our viewers through this podcast.
Yes.
So on the behalf of everybody, the whole FITasF family, we really want to thank you for taking out your time and coming out and sharing your thoughts, your views, your experiences with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Akhil. Thank you.